And my first guest joins me in studio, Mr. Greg Lambrick. He is the CEO of Single Point Incorporated. They have the most musical stock symbol, SING. Greg, pleasure to have you here.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Well, now, Greg, your company describes itself, you're a state-of-the-art mobile technology company and a mobile marketing agency, but I know there's so much more to you than that. Why don't you give us a general overview?
Yeah, I will. We started in 2006 with a mobile messaging platform where we can send any text message to any phone in the US and Canada. We came from that background up in Seattle. Since then, what we've done is we've overlaid on top of that a way for people to use their credit card and their mobile phone to do a transaction or a donation. But the interesting thing that we've done is we've married the text messaging and the mobile transaction together. So when you get that text, there's a link that you can hit, and that'll take you to a mobile landing page that you can do the transaction or the donation. So that's the technology that we've built.
Well, now, mobile payments is really a burgeoning industry. Tell us about your place in that space.
Yeah, it is. I mean, you know, that's the real hot spot right now is the mobile payments business. There's many different types of mobile payments. For example, Square with the credit card that they swipe. What we're focusing on and trying to get a niche in is to be able to have companies send a text to all of their customers or their opt-in people that has a link that they can go ahead and hit and simply use their credit card to do a transaction.
Well, that's interesting. So the text comes in, and immediately from that message, they can effect and complete the transaction.
Well, that's just it, and that makes us different than some other ways of doing mobile transaction or other mobile companies where maybe you have to go find their app, which, as you know, is not easy.
Right.
With what we're doing with text messaging, we're making it very streamlined and simple. When they get that text, which everybody reads within the first 5 minutes, that link is there. So if they want to hit the link, they can donate or do a transaction right away. So it's really a seamless process.
Now, the company's been very busy lately. You announced a partnership with a company called Text to Bid. Tell us about the deal and what you expect to come from it.
Yeah, so Text to Bid is a leading mobile auction company in the U.S. And you know, if you've been to your school auction or an auction, they used to have the paddles. Well, again, everything's turning to mobile. So when you walk in, you're able to bid on all the items on your mobile phone. Text to Bid, we have wrote the mobile programming for that, and we have the opportunity to sell that to all the auctions in the U.S. So we're very excited about that particular deal.
The company is Single Point Incorporated, stock symbol, as I mentioned, SING. Now, Greg, we had a great conversation before going on the air. The company has made an acquisition. You're calling it the largest piece of news in the history of the company. I've just set the table. The floor is yours.
Yes, well, thank you. Yeah, we're very excited. We made our first acquisition, and we will be releasing news on that next Tuesday. The company has already done $1 million in sales or revenue up until August, and they're expected to do another $1 million before the year's out. We've spent a lot of time in the last 7 years building out our technology and our staff. We kind of feel like we're we're trailblazing in the mobile payments. So this acquisition with the revenues and sales kind of gives us a jump start.
So it basically takes you from, say, the starting blocks and puts you kind of halfway through the 4x400 relay or something like that. I mean, you're really in the middle of the race now.
Yeah, that's it, and that was one of the reasons we did it. Although our strategy is to get sales and marketing by acquisition, so we will be doing more, but also by internal sales. So this was definitely a nice jump start for us, and we're glad to be able to announce it this Tuesday.
Well, give me an idea. I mean, you know, with this text-to-bid partnership and now this recent acquisition, tell me an idea. You know, you're looking at this situation. How does that help the company thrive now in your mobile payment space?
Well, one of the things that we're doing that is a lot of my background is we're signing up a lot of ISOs. And when I say ISOs, I mean independent sales organizations. These companies already have clients and customers and credibility that they've been selling their product into. We're simply going to them and saying, now you can introduce the mobile transactions to your current customers. So that's what we're really focusing on, and we feel that that's the way we're going to get our sales revenues up without having to have a lot of employees and salespeople.
Oh, let's talk about that, because companies, of course, they grow in a number of different ways. They grow internally, organically, as it's known. And you mentioned that we maybe expect more growth by acquisition. Can you give us a hint on that?
I can. There's a lot of companies in the mobile space that in the last 2 or 3 years have raised money and have gotten to a certain point with X amount of sales, and now it's time for them to decide on an exit strategy. And the fact that we're public and we're in the mobile space, we can come to them and go ahead and say, hey, we've got an exit strategy, why don't you come with us?
Outstanding. Let's talk about this, because you're CEO of a company that's in a burgeoning space.
Yes.
And it kind of reminds me of what the internet was like, say, in 1997, 1998. It was a burgeoning space. It was really instrumental in driving the economy at that time. What do you see as the biggest challenge facing you as CEO of this company?
Well, I think the biggest challenge is that mobile payments, everything's going to the mobile phone, including mobile payments. In fact, one of the analogies I always use is 15, 20 years ago, when you got that first flight on your internet, after you did it and put your credit card on, you're like, did I really buy the flight? Well, that's what's happening with mobile phones too. Why would you go on the internet when you can just pull your credit card out on your mobile phone and buy the same flight? Well, people aren't used to it yet.
Right.
But they're getting used to it, and as the phones get more sophisticated, the smartphones, they will be doing it more. So one of our biggest challenges is that we're trailblazing this industry, and we're having to educate and show people that you can do this on your mobile phone, and it's okay.
Well, it's kind of funny, because you see people buying 50, 60, and 70-inch TVs, and they're watching football on their mobile phone. Greg, why is this a good time right now for people to take a closer look at your company?
Well, first of all, I think that the mobile payments business, the projections are going through the roof. It is and is continuing to be a huge business in the future. One of the other things is that we are a public company, so although we're smaller than some of the bigger mobile payments, you can invest in us on the public market. And also, I think with our size and our niche of going into nonprofits and other businesses, that we're going to be a very good acquisition candidate for a larger company.
Interesting. Once again, Single Point Incorporated, SING is their stock symbol. Greg, we're following your company, be watching you very closely over the next 3 months or so. Looking forward to more great updates. Thanks for joining us.
Well, thank you for having us. We're very excited about the future, and we're expecting big things out of Single Point.